want to go out and like have drinks with all the players that I end up interviewing in the scene.
Do you know
like,
what?
Scene.
We are a good laugh. We're
you're
a good crack,
good.
to be honest, I always say.
Genuinely.
But do you know, it's taken time for our personality to shine through though. Because I think there was a stage when women's rugby was starting to get big, and then we were like, be very serious, don't show your personality, people are going to think you're not a good rugby player, or you don't know your stuff.
Yeah.
Where now, I think, you look at some of the rugby players and you think, I could hang out with them. That'd be fun.
That's it.
That'd be fun.
I think that's the beauty in the women's rugby space that's coming through right now. It's that friendliness, it's that relatability.
But they're also really good on the field, and that's what I
Yes.
love. It's that balance between showing my personality, but do you know what? I am really good at what I do, and I work really hard. And that's the same with the blokes. You know, when you see blokes who do really well, whatever sport, you like to think they can show their personality, but their performance has to back
That's
it up.
it.
And we get that now with the women's game, which I'm so pleased with. You know.
Yeah. It's a pressure, you know what I mean? Where like if you're going to be going on all these media endeavors and like asking for this, you need to make sure that the results are there.
Yeah.
I think what's quite handy about like the English scene in particular, obviously 2 years ago you had the Lionesses and women's football, but now all of a sudden it's women's rugby. Like England is nearly the place to be right now for women's sport.
Yeah.
What does that feel like for you?
I feel really proud, you know. I feel really proud that, you know, we're hosting a Women's Rugby World Cup. Yes, I'm English and it's in England. I'm proud that hopefully it's going to support all the home nations, you know, Ireland, Wales. Everyone will be really feel like my home fans can come and watch and support us. So that's really important to me. But I do feel proud that the fact that we're trying to push women's sport, and we want to make sure that more people come and watch. That's our big focus, because I think people can talk about women's sport, talk about watching it and supporting it, but it's about showing up. It's about that call to action to say, look, start following some of those female athletes, come and watch them play. Be their champions, and we're starting to get that now. And I like to think England as a nation has been pushing that and is encouraging other nations to also, you know, invest in your women, because your women are amazing.
I think it's a unique situation. It's not just about the country, but I think obviously I'm following the Lionesses model right here. But like after they as a country won the Euros, it then bled into the WSL.
Absolutely
And I think
right.
now that's happening as well with the rugby scene, where we're going to get the Women's Rugby World Cup. We had the Olympics. We have Ilona Maher that's now local.
Yeah.
Before she was international.
Yeah.
And I think it's the reliance on individual stars that hopefully carry that flame into the local scene. And
You're so
that's
right.
where the change is going to happen. Are you okay with it relying on Ilona's shoulders?
It's a very
or
good
would
question.
you rather it be spread out?
It's a very good question. I think I love having role models, and I love having sporting stars, because, you know, let's just think. So you got Ellie Kildun's one, Ilona's one, Ruby Tui's another one in New Zealand. I'm so pleased that we have them. But you've raised a really good point. We don't want it to rely on just a few individuals, because then that's almost too much weight on their shoulders. But also, the game is bigger than just individuals. The game is about lots of fantastic athletes, and it's about a sport. So it's striking that balance between profile athletes who've got great social media platforms and using it appropriately, but then at the same time, it shouldn't be all about the individual. It should be about the sport. I think we need both.
Yeah.
We need to make the stars raise the profile, but then the focus needs to come back to the sport. So you have a bit of both, because I think Ilona's going to raise the profile for the Women's World Cup this year, especially for USA.
Yes.
But whether she performs well or doesn't perform well, it shouldn't be about her. It should be about USA, or it should be about England or Ireland. You know, so you need them to raise it, but then the focus should still be back at the women's game and the tournament itself.
Do you have anyone that you would like to spotlight?
No.
Maybe not in Bristol Bears, but just in the PWR scene.
It's a really good point. Like Aoife Waffa, for example, is a good example of someone I've got such respect for. Her performances have been outstanding. So I guess this is where I come back to. I'm really looking at players and athletes that are performing amazingly well on the field.
Yes.
And they might not have that social media presence, but they're really good. And I think I want to keep giving them spotlight. Yeah, Ellie Kildun's been doing incredibly well over in England. Abby Dow's another one. These people have really stood up and have shone a bit of a spotlight on being great rugby players. Also with World Cups, and I always find this, we talk about one person or 2, 3 people going into a tournament, and then once the tournament's over, we talk about another 10. Or I feel like stars are made during a tournament, during Olympics. So that's why I don't want to focus too much on one person, because I think we're going to hear of some new stars that is going to almost make our sport even more reachable to more people, because they're going to be like, oh, her from Brazil, or her from Wales. People start to know names across the board.
That's it. Final question. Over the panel, Keith Earls mentioned his dad when he needed help with his defense. Now, what stood out to me in particular was that he said, my dad was vulnerable enough to admit that he's looking at a female athlete. Now, it's that vulnerability aspect when he was talking about male allyship. What did that make you think a little bit of, just like, oh, I've never thought about vulnerability for men, admitting that they like female athletes? Yeah,
do you know what? It was a really interesting bit what he raised, especially his father and the generation at that time, which probably didn't, women just role models full stop is probably not something that's been a strong point. But it did make me think, his generation probably would have seen or referring to a female athlete as being doesn't show strong character, and I love that he championed that.
Yes.
Watch Maggie Alphonsi to develop your defensive technique. I like to think that I taught Keith everything he knows now, but that says a lot. And I look at Keith as an absolute legend. I've watched him in his playing career, but I do think now more men are now going. Like you said, the word vulnerability isn't even seen there. They now go, she's an amazing role model.
Point blank.
And she's an amazing role model for my daughter and my son.
That's it.
And that is the key thing. We've got a new generation of men who are coming through, like Keith's dad, who are allies to women's sport, and we need them because they're part of the journey, they're part of the process, and we do it together. See you later. Take care. Oh, Keith, absolute legend, mate. Can you say hello to your dad for me as well? Means a lot, honestly.
Yeah, we were talking about him actually. Amazing. Maggie, I'll leave you at that. Thank you so much.